Hello, people. A long, long time ago, in a house far, far away, on this very same workbench, actually, I did a teardown video of a locking shopping cart wheel that I had found. And we opened it up. We saw what was inside. Kind of went through it a little bit. It was a very short video. And as luck would have it, many, many years later, I would come to find another one. Now, unfortunately, this one here, I did not find as in good condition as that other one was, because if we turn it around, it's very muddy and a bit rusty. Now, this one here I actually found in a little island section with some dirt that was like in a parking lot, and it was, kind of face down like that, like stuck in the kind of like muddy ground. And the funny thing is, I saw it, I picked it up, and I was out having lunch with my kid, and he asks, "What is that?" So I said, "It's a shopping cart wheel." So he says, "Can I see it?" So I handed it over to him, and like a scene from like a horror movie or something, as soon as I handed it to him, a bunch of ants started crawling out from this thing. I think they were coming out from like the crack in here. I think they were like maybe like inside the rubber or something. So he freaks out and he drops it, and the ants just, like scatter everywhere. So I kind of just let it sit there for a minute or two, just trying to let all the ants crawl out of it. And then after that, I kind of picked it up a couple times and just dropped it to try to shake off as many of them as I could. So yeah, it was pretty dirty. It had ants inside. And so after we did that, I chucked it into a bucket that I had in the back of my car, and it just kind of sat there for a couple weeks until I remembered to take it back out. But at this point, it's actually been sitting around for, it's probably been over a year now here in my garage. But getting into this now, I'm going to take a look inside, see what we find, see how much this one differs from that other one that we took apart. As we can see, this one here has these two little caps here that looks like they twist out. And I haven't removed them yet, so I have no idea what's inside of those. The other one did not have those. And unlike the other one also, the other one had like a bunch of screws around the perimeter of the cover here. This one only has 5. They're all Torx. So we'll take those off, and yeah, it looks like that side's going to be the one to take a look inside. So first of all, let's remove these caps and see what's in there. All right, and I'm just going to put it on top of one of these shop towels here, just to catch all the crap that might fall out of it. But looks like this might come apart if we twist it that way. And this one, it also twists in the same direction, counterclockwise. Let's see what's inside. Boy, and this must have been sitting out in the sun for a while, because this plastic is like all flaky, falling apart. There's nothing in there. Yeah. There's nothing inside of these things, so what the heck would they be for? Maybe my best guess is, depending on what colors you put on this thing, maybe it denotes some sort of functionality or frequency that they work at. So they're just like some sort of visual indicator. That's the only thing I can think of, because yeah, there's nothing in there. So, all right, that's that part. That was easy. Now let's take off these 5 screws. And I thought I had the right size Torx. Apparently I don't yet. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now real quick here. Yeah, this wheel is pretty abused. You can see right there how it looks like it was it got dragged for a while. This rubber got all torn up. And it's got a few other parts here where it's kind of scraped off a bit, but yeah, that's the worst of it right there. I can't imagine that the mechanism inside of this is going to differ too much from the other one. Seems like that'd be like the quickest, most efficient way to actually make it lock. But the electronics could be different. Also, this one doesn't appear to have any bearings like the other one does. It looks like they just have these bushings. And it looks like they're just a plastic bushing. So that metal hub inside there just kind of protrudes through the bushing, and that's what kind of acts as a bearing. Okay, this one's not coming apart as easily as the other one did. Thought this was going to be the cover there, but it looks like maybe not. Maybe this side's the cover, and the screws just go all the way through and hold this side in place. Oh, another thing I also noticed about this one that I came across by total accident is there appears to be a magnet like right here. And I say I found that out by accident because I actually had a little piece of like a component lead that I clipped off of something that was stuck like right there. As you can see, it won't fall off. And so when I went to go pull it off, that's when I realized that it was actually sticking to the case, but that's the only spot in the whole wheel where there's a little magnet, so no idea why they would have a magnet there. Okay, this is not coming apart. Okay, I'm finally getting some movement here. This looks like it's finally separating, but I can't quite tell how exactly it's like configured here. But this is coming off. Just have to kind of go all the way around and just pry a little bit. Oh, the entire wheel's coming off the rubber. Oh, I see. This is screwed into the rubber. Yeah, you see there's the holes there. Those holes line up with the holes that are on the main wheel. So this, how does this come apart then? Oh, I wonder if this is sealed, like it's basically bonded shut. We're probably gonna have to get a little more violent on it. Now, best as I can tell, there's no screws on this or anything. Well, this side here doesn't look like it's completely somehow adhered to this side of the case, because there's a bit of a gap there. Like if I stick this blade here, you can see, yeah, there's a gap. So I'm wondering if maybe it can twist off or something, but I'll have to figure out a way to be able to do that. All right, I got a good gap right there. Whoops. Okay, there we go. Finally getting some movement. Looks like I'm going to have to go around the entire perimeter of this thing and just pry. I like the way the other one was built better. This one's a pain to open up. Okay, there we go. Whew. That's the cover. Oh, it's like water had gotten in here. And there's still water in here. And like I said, this thing's been sitting around for like a year at this point, so not very well sealed, this one. And here is the actual mechanism. Yeah, it looks pretty identical to that other one. Oh, this one's all encased. So yeah, just like the other one, it's got this ring that expands outwards to lock against the splines that are inside of this other tub sort of shaped piece. So that's pretty much the entirety of the outside there. And it appears that, yeah, maybe this was like ultrasonically welded or something. The plastic was the one that I had to pry apart. And there for sure is a little magnet right there. You can see it. Yeah. Now, as far as the electronics go, looks like maybe that's going to be housing a battery inside of there. This is another sealed component, looks like. Got a couple of washers here falling off of each side of that hub there. Okay, this one wasn't as bad as the other one was to lift off. There it goes. Cover coming apart. Yep, this one was also like welded together. Oh, I see a board. All right, there we go. So this here looks like it's a cover for the battery. Whoa. Okay, so that comes off. There is this sort of a silicone liner there. Looks like it was for kind of shock protecting the battery. And unlike the other one, this one is not potted in at all. That there's going to be the motor underneath this. Jesus, everything's just flying. And yep, you can see that water got in there. There's a bunch of corrosion on the motor. The board actually has a screw. So it looks like if we remove that screw, we can pry the whole entire board, the battery, and the motor out. Oh, there's two screws. Interesting how they're so close together. All right, that frees the board. Yep, there it is. Looks like it's a silicone adhesive there. But there it comes. All right, that's all the electronic components. And this is the mechanical stuff. So, yeah, pretty much exactly like the other one. It just has a gear reduction inside of there. And then it drives like a screw that that moves this like pawl here out to like extend this ring, or to bring it back in so that it unlocks the wheel. This cover here looks like it'll come off pretty easily. Oh, it's got a rivet right there. But yeah, not much to see in there. You just see these extensions that go down there. They just go to the mechanism there that pushes them out. Now it's got this sort of cover right here on the side. Wondering what that's doing. Let's see if we can maybe twist it off and remove it. Yeah, it's coming off. Or it's twisting at least. Yep, there it goes. Okay, so that just exposes a part of the mechanism in there. Oh, that's going to be that, like, sort of a lead screw. Okay, so that comes off. There we go. We have access to the gears. So pretty much just like the other one. So we got 3 identical gears right there. And then the lead screw for the moving the ring in and out. Yep, that's it right there. So it doesn't need to move very much. As you can see, it's pretty short. So yeah, that does it for the mechanism inside this one. I mean, the functionality is the same. It's just designed a little different. All right, so let's check this part out. Looks like I can start my own farm with the amount of dirt that was on this thing. All right, so let's take a closer look at the board here. And unfortunately, I'm having to re-record this part because I forgot that I had turned off my microphone just a little bit ago. I went inside to like go clean up and wash my hands and stuff, and I forgot to turn it back on when I came back into the garage. So yeah, well, the positive thing is that I'll be able to kind of go through it a little bit quicker now that I sort of identified some of the stuff here. But the main controller here, that appears to be a CC2510 SoC. It's got a 2.4 gigahertz radio transceiver and an 8051 MCU. 16 kilobytes or 32 kilobytes of memory, and I think this one's a 32 because on the chip it actually says CC2510 F32, and you can see that if I zoom into it like this. So CC2510 F32. So yeah, low power system on chip, MCU, memory, transceiver, and it's got USB. Other stuff on here, there's this little device here that's marked ABO6, and that appears to be a Ricoh RP170X series 300 milliamp 10 volt input LDO regulator. And I think this is a 1.6 volt regulator because if we scroll down all the way to the end of the data sheet here, if we look right here, we see the marking ABO6. That's a RP170Q162D. That's a 1.6 volt set regulator. So looks like that's what that is. And then if we kind of go down here, we see this part here that says HL823A. It says HE2. That appears to be a Hall sensor or a Hall effect sensor. And now it makes sense why there's a little magnet on the outside of the casing or on the inside of the casing. So what that sensor appears to be doing is that it rides close to this side of the wheel. So as it's rotating, that magnet can kind of glide over the sensor. And so what I think is happening when it does that is it's activating the power supply to provide power to the microcontroller. So that way the battery is not always powering everything inside of here. It has to be enabled by that sensor. So I think that's what some of this circuitry over here is, because as we see, we've got a few capacitors that are kind of large. And you can see them right there. So I think those might be for like timing. Maybe it charges a capacitor, and when that the charge on that like depletes, then it shuts off power to the microcontroller. Because you wouldn't want to be powering the microcontroller directly at all times. This battery is probably not going to last very long. If we take a look over on this section here, we see we've got a jumper here for the negative of the battery. So it looks like maybe they just didn't have enough room here to make another trace. And for sure, these transistors here appears to be the drivers for the motor. As you can see, these two here are the motor wires coming from, well, the motor. They go to these transistors. As you can see, the collector of those two transistors there, or they might be MOSFETs. I'm not entirely sure actually, but those are connected together, and that goes to one of the motor terminals. And then the other motor terminal goes here. It goes to that, and then it appears that this one here might go directly to that right there. So yeah, while the other one had those sort of like integrated like half H motor drivers, this one's just using discrete components. And you can see those two antennas here going into that SoC. We got a terminal here. That's probably going to be for programming the chip, maybe, I'm guessing. It might have USB. I'm not entirely sure. And on this side, it appears, well, this is an inductor. And that's probably going to be for picking up the signal from the antenna around the perimeter of the parking lot. And as we can see, those just kind of go in there. So I kind of have a feeling that maybe this inductor here can also turn on the circuitry for the microcontroller. So it's either going to be enabled by receiving a signal on that inductor or by the wheel rotating. And looks like, I mean, that's pretty much it. Its functionality is almost identical to the other one. It's just that this one's a little more, it's got a few more features to it. And it's got a bit of corrosion right there. So moisture definitely got all the way up in here. The battery here says Wizu Widerui Lithium Battery Technology Company. And on the opposite side here, we see that it's a CR17450, a 3-volt battery. Looks like it's got a G-Thang going on right there. Oh, it's branded. The motor isn't seized or anything, but you can see how the moisture here has kind of corroded the outside of the package everywhere except for where there was the adhesive. So it looks nice and fresh underneath that. And that's what's inside a more modern locking shopping cart wheel, or as some of our overseas friends might say, a trolley. I hope that was kind of interesting, seeing what's in a much newer wheel. And thanks guys for watching once again. I'll see you guys around the bench.